Hello everybody, this is Oski, and we're back with another video. Just before the end of the season, we're going to be talking about this last season in review. So Chapter 6, Season 1, was it a banger? What are our thoughts? So let's get this thing going. First of all, I want to talk about the cosmetics of this season because that's one of my favorite parts about Fortnite. They have a great cosmetics season, and I bought tons of skins this season because, for one, I loved samurai and Japanese culture, and there was some great skins. So some of my favorites that I got this season were Karasu, the crow guy. He looks really great. I found a really great combo for him. Love that skin. I've loved it since the survey released. Dur Taisho was an amazing crew skin. Haruka of the Masks was another amazing crew skin, in my opinion. The Tanuki Ninja Hajime was a great skin. He had a great secondary style. Doberman was an amazing Winterfest skin. Guff Mystery, Flaky the Snowbird, all of them are amazing Christmas skins that I picked up. And then, of course, we had both OG passes, which had 6 great skins in them. And the Battle Pass was amazing as well. Nemia is a item shop skin that I wish I picked up, didn't though. But yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of great cosmetics releasing this season, so I think that's definitely a W. Now let's talk about the theming of the season. I love Japanese culture, and I'm studying Japanese in college right now, so I'm a little bit biased here. But samurais are, like, no doubt the coolest people to have ever existed, in my opinion, like, historically wise, other than knights maybe. But Japanese mythology and culture is just so interesting and popular, so it was a great choice for a season to be themed off of. We kind of already had this with Mega, but that was a little bit more futuristic. This is a traditional Japan more so. I think they could have leaned into the mythology side of it a little bit more with some creatures, like getting a Kappa skin, a Tengu skin, or some other Oni. I think there's a lot of Oni and folklore and Japanese culture that they could have brought into this, and they did that to a certain degree. But overall, I think the theming was great. The POIs looked amazing. And so now let's actually talk about the map. The map was peak, okay? Very accurate locations to like Japanese architecture and style. And I love the Japanese architecture and style. Some of the coolest architecture in the world, no doubt. I love the mountains in the middle of the map. They were always a great place to have a, unique fight because of the height positioning and whatnot. And we usually don't have mountains in the middle, so I really enjoyed that. The forest biomes added a lot more diversity to the encounters you could have, fighting people around trees. It was really fun fighting in there and like having a bunch of little sprite guys running around. The vibes were definitely on point. Speaking of little sprite guys, the little sprite ghosts were super cool as like an environmental design. So I'm talking about not the actual ones you can use, but like there's little floaty spirit ones around. That's really cool in my opinion. Another thing like that, flooded frogs was an amazing POI, and they actually had frogs hopping around if you had your graphics on max, which I think is really cool, and I love when the map feels alive. It was really cool when it drained as well, so giving a little bit of an interactive element with map changes throughout the season. That was awesome. Lost Lake was beautiful. Honestly, like all the locations were beautiful this season. That's my favorite part about it. It's just like everywhere you went, it was just this most picturesque, scenic place. And it was amazing to play on. Kappa Kappa Pickle Factory was a welcome addition halfway through the season. I do wish places like Shogun Solitude or Demon's Dojo were a little bit closer in from the outside of the map because I never really landed there. I was just too afraid of Storm cooking me. But overall, I think there's so many great locations this season, and I really like the diversity between them. You had a lot of like kind of mountainous areas with Demon's Dojo and Shogun Solitude. Then you'd have some simple cities with Hopeful Heights and Mass Meadows. There's just a lot of great diversity, and the Canyon Crossing is another one that was very unique. But yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass was pretty dope, honestly. In hindsight, I used a lot of the skins. I use a lot more of the item shop skins, but that's just kind of how it goes. Once you unlock a lot of Battle Pass skins and play with them for a while, you don't really use them very much anymore. But some of my favorites from this Battle Pass that I used the most were Kendo. I really liked his Demon Oni hunting style, as well as his yellow one. Jade I used a lot. She has some really great styles. The Garmadon one looks fire, and her armor is super cool. The Night Rose black armor was drippy. Nyanja, I really liked him right away in the season. And then Godzilla, of course, is like the best bonus skin ever. I love Godzilla. So yeah, I didn't really use Baymax that much. I don't know. I guess he's just too chunky to play with. Anyway, now we're moving on to the gameplay. So the weapons, they were pretty fun. I got used to the Hollow Twister, and it's the most overpowered rifle ever, and I really love it. I love the scope. It's so fun to beam people with that. Not very fun to get beamed with, but I think it was a great AR. The Sentinel pump was just a classic pump, so I appreciate that. The sprites were a great feature. I had so many times where they came in clutch and provided me some heals as I was like fighting somebody, and I just look around and there was a sprite right there. I ran, grabbed them, threw them down, and got some heals. So yeah, they were really clutch for that. Or you could just throw one down and get out of there with the air one. So yeah, amazing feature. They're also just adorable, you know. And then the interactive nature with the statues was also really cool to see. And now one more thing I'd like to throw in there. I'm recording this after the first one, but I kind of remembered it as I was recording my gameplay. The new movement mechanics of like the sprint jump off a ledge, where you get some extra height with your jump, the wall kicking, the roll after the jump, all of them are actually really cool, and I'm really glad they added them, especially that, you know, extra height jump off a ledge. I've used that one so many times, just traverse Seaport City, get onto the railroad tracks from above, or just like do cool things with it. And I think the wall kicking also has a lot of potential that we haven't seen quite yet. But yeah, I'm really glad they added those. I think they're really cool. They make the game feel a lot more fluid, and they add a lot to zero build movement as well. Let's move on to another part of the gameplay, the event this season. I mean like gameplay event. So this season's gameplay event was Godzilla, and boy, oh boy, I think this is probably one of the coolest things Fortnite has ever done. Like, this is comparable to the Infinity or Endgame and Infinity War LTM, in my opinion. Playing as Godzilla was a blast. I think I got to play as him like 3 or 4 times. One of those times I really popped off, got like 12 kills. It was just phenomenal. It's so fun to play as him, and it's terrifying to see him and hear him using his atomic breath or coming closer to you, and it really felt like you were running away from a giant monster IRL. It was really cool, and I think it was probably one of my favorite in-game events they've ever done. All right, some more things about the gameplay. The Fire and Void Oni mask, I think were really unique and really cool. I think they were pretty balanced by the end of the season, in my opinion. You know what wasn't balanced, though? The Typhoon Blade. That crap was busted AF, and they never nerfed it, if I remember correctly. The animations made it so hard to track, which is a problem with most melee items in the game. It's like usually not the damage that's overpowered, it's just you can't track people when they use them. So, but the movement was great, and it was a lot of fun to use yourself, especially if you had that invisible medallion. And speaking of medallions, the reload one kind of felt a little bit lackluster, but the invisibility one was awesome, like I said, especially with that Mythic Typhoon Blade. So yeah, I mean, the Typhoon Blade was definitely a problem throughout the season, and so that's one thing I didn't really enjoy, is they definitely should have balanced that a little bit more by the end of the season. Alrighty, now let's talk about some collaborations. This season had some of the best collaborations, and it could have been better if we got Demon Slayer, which I'm so confused why we didn't get him, or get that anime. It's literally a season about hunting demons. It actually makes me upset how big of a miss that was. Hopefully we get them early next season, but it just feels like a missed opportunity. I wonder if it's because of Godzilla being pushed to the forefront or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, Godzilla was peak. Kong and Mechagodzilla, W skins, W event. The Samurai Star Wars skins were amazing reskins for people that didn't have Darth Vader. Samurai Batman was fire. Hatsune Miku, best collab ever, honestly. The fire emotes, fire contrail, fire festival songs, fire skins, too much peak. Even a fire car. Iron Man, customizable skin, just dropped recently. It's one of the best Marvel skins ever. Best Iron Man skin for sure. Spider-Verse Wave 2 was amazing, except for Peter B. Parker. If he had the spider suit, he would have been probably the best skin ever. Punk looks insanely good, though, and he looks like he came from the movie. His reactivity with the color changing. Kaiju number 8 got a collab. I never really watched that, but it fits the theming perfectly. Avatar just dropped recently. It's kind of random, but they are good skins, and the glider's awesome. All right, now let's talk about the story. I didn't really pay much attention, but I did think that the whole Spirit Realm Shogun X part of the story was dope, and Night Rose being controlled is interesting. It's interesting how they use the characters, though, because only Daigo really did anything by the end. And Kendo and Hope, what the hell were they doing the entire season? Anyway, speaking of Daigo, that event was absolute peak. However, I know Cyan got a lot of hate for this take, but I kind of agree with him. Daigo should not have won in that way. It was a little bit of a cop-out by the writers. Any other way they could have written it would just have been better rather than having Shogun X just for no reason leave himself open to a fatal blow. He was whooping Daigo's ass low-key. And then the choreography was fire when he kicked him in the air and Daigo's front flip attack. And then the impact frame was so clean. I don't know why they had to make it end so lamely. But it was a great event nonetheless. I'm not trying to hate. I just think there's literally any better way they could have ended it. They could have had Shogun X at least take a blow and be blinded or something instead of just flexing for no reason. Anyway, Winterfest was an amazing event during the season. That was pretty early on in the season, and it was one of the best Winterfests we've had recently. It really outdid last year's because they actually brought back the cabin. There was great collabs. The map got mostly covered in snow. There was good gameplay. The Mariah Carey mini event was really funny with her busting out of the ice. It's time. There's so much good things this Winterfest. And so that's going to bring it to the overall thoughts portion of this video. I know we kind of rushed through this, but I had a lot to say, and I kind of want to just boom, 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 boom. Not a whole lot of organization, just a lot of thoughts about this season. And so for my overall thoughts, I think this season was awesome. And I'm totally biased in that take, but it had one of my favorite themes ever. And the overall concept was just 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The only thing to bring down this season was the Typhoon Blade. I'm interested to see how they're going to switch this season's theme to a crime city. But there's usually never any cohesion between the different season themes anyway, so I don't really care that much. But it is a little confusing. And I saw somebody on Twitter make this point, as well as I agree with them. It would be nice to see them do a theme for a whole chapter. I don't really know how that could work because there's no way you get 5 seasons worth of content out of a Japanese theme without it feeling repetitive. So I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about this season. I had a blast. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, minus that 1 point for the overpowered Typhoon Blade, which too many people used. Too many people spammed. But I love the little sprite guys. I love the map. It was beautiful. I really liked the weapons once we got used to them. And a lot of the cosmetics, collabs, events, all of it was super good. And it's got me really hopeful for this next season, which looks to be great. So let me know what you guys thought. Make sure to leave a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.